Okay, thank you. Looks like we have Councilmember Gardner, Councilmember Medina as well. Do we have our staff presenters?
Yes, looks like we have everyone.
Great. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, beginning with the approval of the March 19 meeting minutes. Any changes?
None for me.
Okay. I have no changes. You approve of them as written then?
Yes.
Great. All right. Any announcements? Okay. Consent items.
None from staff today.
Great, thank you. All right, then we will jump into our first presentation, which is the 2025, I think it's misspelled in the packet. I think marketing update is what it's supposed to say. Kim Stewart, I will pass it to you.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Sophia Hernandez, who's part of our group, and we'll be sharing. She's our senior marketing and digital communications marketing expert with the city. So Sophia, can you put your camera on as well? Do you have that permission?
Yes, it's showing as on for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see
there
it.
You go. We can
Okay.
see you now. Thank you. Okay. So thank you very much for the time. We appreciate this, a chance to give you all an update on what we're up to as a department, specifically our marketing program with the city. Continue to do, we think, very important and impactful work. And one thing I just wanted to start before I hand it off to Sophia to talk about is some of the changes in the department. We know that it's really critical to meet our public's expectations. And one thing that we're doing to do that is to move to a lot more digital reach. People go to the places that they trust for information, whether that be on a news front or for social influence and such. So we're really making some adjustments. That will be through Aurora TV with more digital focus. Part of our Here we go. And so department-wide with our 5 divisions, we're all collaborating extensively on digital and social media. Everything from accessibility to, as I said, reaching media, reaching our many publics in Aurora through a stronger digital program, more reels, more video, and really strong imagery. So before Sophia launches, I wanted to share that information. It makes our reach more targeted. We can be more nimble in changing up what we know works. We're looking at data points like, are people liking a particular image of a home or a business? We can shift along the way, and that's why we're really focused on digital. And the data benefit that gives us is lifetime adjustments and much more informed work along the way. So just wanted to touch on that. We use that for crisis and emergency communications and really strengthening the trust we have with our community. So I just wanted to set the stage. I will also tell you that with that work, we've had very clear focus on our audiences with marketing, and we're having to pull back a little bit. We can't reach all of them with our one staff person. So we want to be efficient and effective. And so our focus is on that. Realtors continue to be a strong area for us. Happy to have conversations offline with any of the council members on the meeting today as well. So anyway, with that, I'm going to hand it to Sophia, and she'll walk you through what our marketing focus has been. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda, you can skip to slide 3. Because Kim kind of covered, everything on that slide. Perfect. Okay, so the purpose of our marketing efforts is to really share Aurora's story authentically, and in doing that, what we're really trying to do is build relationships with our audiences. We want to reach people quickly, and then also allow for two-way communication too. So that's a big reason why we're really adopting this social media forward or social media first approach. And then too, a really big thing to think about is like we all have constant information at our fingertips, and a lot is coming at us always. And so one way that we can cut through a lot of that noise is by using marketing to consistently put out our messaging that reflects Aurora's values. You can go to the next slide. So these are all of our audiences that we've identified for our marketing efforts. We wanted to provide a visual for each of these, not only to show the variety of audiences that we're communicating with, but also to show the interconnectedness between each of these audiences. So you can go to the next slide, Brenda. And so with different audience groupings or different audience segments, we're also going to have different messaging that will show up in a variety of places. They all fall under the World in a City umbrella, but our main goal is just to be able to tell our story in a variety of contexts, but primarily making sure that we're kind of taking charge on our brand identity and our storytelling. Next slide. So some key actions that we're taking to reach our goals are, Kim mentioned earlier, we're increasing our digital communications, specifically on social media. And over the last year, this has really allowed us to kind of dig into that data tracking and kind of shift our strategies based off of what we're seeing in the numbers. Another new thing that we're implementing is our influencer marketing campaign. It's something that we haven't done yet, but we're piloting it. So for some brands and organizations, it's really worked for them just because audiences are more likely to listen to a social media influencer or a person when it comes to messaging versus, seeing an ad come on their screen. And there's just a little bit more engagement on that front. And then the other point that I wanted to make on this slide was we continue to increase our collaborations within not only the city, but also within the community. So one example of this is recently we needed awareness to be brought around our Global Flavors campaign. So we partnered with On Havana Street on a couple of social media posts. They performed really well in terms of social media engagement, but what we really wanted was signups for that competition, and we saw a lot after that. So we can
I'm just
go
going
to
to
the
jump
next.
in real quick. Sorry. Hi, I'm Laura. I'm the manager of marketing and creative services. The one thing I wanted to mention is that the pilot program for the influencer marketing that Sophia mentioned will be focused on Global Fest support and also Aurora Eats. And so once we have wrapped that campaign, those two campaigns up, we'll be able to present on performance of those.
Thank you. We can go to the next slide. So with the heavier social push that we've done, and also just being able to collect data a little bit more closely with all of our digital communications, I didn't want to flood the slide with a ton of numbers, but I did pull some examples of some key metrics that we are collecting. And I compared those metrics from last quarter or Q4 of 2024 to this first quarter this year. And consistently, we're just seeing a huge increase in engagement, in reach, and audience growth, especially on social media. And then another really impressive number was our Aurora Eats digital map visits. So we saw a 240% increase there, which is amazing. We did come out with a new interactive map, which probably impacted that number a ton, but quarter to quarter, we're just seeing positive increases in all of these numbers. So we can go to the next slide. As far as our campaign approach, in every content piece that we come up with, be it with our organic marketing or with our paid marketing, we're trying to highlight local people, businesses, restaurants, and other attractions here in Aurora. And again, we do this both through our paid efforts and then also organically too, which a lot of times shows up on social media. And another point that we wanted to make was that we're coordinating our marketing efforts across city departments. And so one example for this is the police department has recruitment campaigns that they do throughout the entire year. Sometimes they need an extra push with paid. And so we coordinate with them on their billboard ads, on their radio ads. And this helps us not only all be on the same page, so that way we're not, putting two city ads in one place, but we're also getting reduced rates because of that. And then for our paid media specifically, paid media just allows us to get a larger reach. It almost guarantees more impressions. Not necessarily engagements, but with marketing, what we're trying to do is build brand awareness and get people familiar with our brand. But it also allows us to have control over our own story versus with earned media, we don't have that same control. And so that's kind of the nice part about the paid media or the advertising piece. And so our focus is digital communications, but we have ads that show up on a variety of channels. We have print, out of home, advertorials, radio, and in each of these pieces, we're customizing the content for our target audiences. So in ads that we used to have running in Colorado Parent, those are going to look a little bit different than ads that maybe show up in 5280 or on Westward. So we are taking our audience into account and being very strategic on what messages we're putting out there, depending on who it is that we're trying to reach. Also, something to note is that we advertise in multilingual publications. And so this includes Colorado Times Korean, Rocky Mountain Chinese Weekly, La Voz, El Comercio, just to get a larger reach to those audiences. And we can go to the next slide. This is a visual representation of all of our paid placements. We meet with a media buyer at the end of every year to talk about what the next year looks like. And this year, this is just our digital placements, but we have an active presence in the market throughout the entire year. And then in those conversations, we're also chatting about what our primary messaging is going to be and what platforms or media orgs might best suit our needs. We can go to the next slide.
Sophia, if you don't mind, I did want to say one thing for council. As we're looking at budgets and things, we're very mindful of that. We use a media buyer, because we get to benefit off of her relationships and we get much reduced rates because of it. So it really increases the value of our dollar and citizens taxpayer dollars. So we're very aware of that, wanted to share that with you. And we're also very, very strategic with her help. I just want to mention light rail wraps. They have been up for 2 years. We've paid for like 1 quarter because we place them at a time when we know they're not switching them out, and they're on multiple tracks. So we do out of the east, we do the East Denver side. We come out of the East Garage for RTD. Those things are all very purposeful to get the most bang for our buck. So just wanted to put that point out there when we're all very mindful of the money. Thanks.
Yeah, and I would just want to call out that we were this year, because we noticed that 2023 and the 2024 ones were still up. We did not buy for this year because we're already getting placement. And so that was dollars that we were able to, save on and repurpose.
Yeah. Thank you both. We can go to the next slide. And so included in this slide is just a couple of creative examples from last year into this year. We can play the videos that just speak towards our primary campaign, The World in a City, but also Aurora Eats too. There should be sound, but that's okay.
We can send the videos as follow-ups too with the sound so you guys can see them.
Apologies. Yeah, the sound's not coming through. Not from me either.
Okay, that's okay. So this next video is just, the sound is just music anyway. But this is speaking towards our new interactive map. for the Aurora Eats Guide. Okay. Oh. And then that last creative example of the light rail wrap isn't a video, but we just wanted to showcase what is still running on top of 2023's. There's that example, and then we can go to the next slide. Here are more creative examples of both print and digital placements that we've done throughout the year. So the far left and the far right example are both advertorials, and I wanted to call those out because they're very similar to like editorial style written content, but audiences just respond a lot better to these, kind of similar to the influencer marketing piece, because it doesn't feel like an ad. It feels a little bit more organic. And then these also appear in feed with other articles that aren't sponsored content. We can go to the next slide. So on to social specifically, we have a presence on all of the main social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. A lot of times we don't do paid media on social media just because we already have an established audience. They're able to connect with us, comment on our things. We're able to also comment back. So it's just a nice place for two-way communications. And then with organic marketing, and since we've been able to build a large audience over time, we just see a high return on investment at no cost versus paid media. So that's kind of one of the benefits of using social as another marketing platform and marketing tool is that there doesn't have to be a cost associated with this. We can go to the next slide. So continuing on the social media side of things, in the communications department, we've developed a digital and social media working group. And the point of this group was to work through kind of changes and strategies and also a creative brainstorming time just to reach our audiences in better ways. We do have a pretty large audience on all of our platforms, and we want to reach them in the best way that we can. So we've done a lot of experimenting and we've seen improvements in our engagements and our followership based off of some changes that have come out of this group. And the example on this slide is just 2 posts speaking towards the same grant that was available to citizens. One was very branded. It was in a graphic format, didn't get a whole lot of engagement. We think it's because it looks kind of like an ad. And then we changed the tone to be a little bit more informal in the copy, and we used photos and we treated it kind of similar. We put a persona behind the post, and we've done this with a ton of our posts, but we've just seen really positive improvements come out of that group as well. We can go to the next slide. In terms of events, we use key events like the Anschutz Block Party and Global Fest to kind of bring our brand to life. We're able to show up with Aurora Eats guides, with stickers, with postcards, and people are more than excited to take a ton of everything, especially the Aurora Eats guides. And so these events are just ways for us to deepen our connections with our audience and invite new audiences to experience Aurora and our brand as well. We can go to the next slide. As Kim mentioned earlier, realtors are kind of a big area of focus for us. They're storytellers much in the same way that marketing is too. They're on the front lines of shaping people's perceptions, and they definitely influence where people choose to want to live. And so we support them by providing them with the tools, resources, and information they need to help sell Aurora as a community and just our overall brand. And so we do this by keeping our website updated with necessary information for them, but also showing up in the Realtors Association guides, and also by keeping an active membership with them as well. And then with trade shows, marketing doesn't necessarily attend these trade shows. This is kind of something that's taken on by our economic development and planning department. But we do provide them support through branded material, and then also just having all that material have our key messaging and making sure it all falls in line with marketing's primary messages too. And then on this slide, mostly we just wanted to showcase that marketing is not siloed. We do work both within the communications department and across departments on campaigns and internal communications, just to make sure that all of our storytelling is unified regardless of the platform or audience. One example here is we have a citywide HR recruitment campaign that's still ongoing. It kind of ties back into the world in a city. So we use those same kind of words or that tagline, and we use a world of career opportunities on those placements and posts. And then this last piece is about Aurora Eats. Last year, we added about 100 new locations to the guide, which was really exciting, but something that really was new kind of at the end of last year into this year was our interactive map. So previously we did have a map that had all of the guides locations included on it. However, it wasn't branded and it wasn't as interactive or accessible. So we got a new platform. It's heavily branded, and then we also worked very closely with our accessibility coordinator on just making sure that the map is accessible for anyone who wants to view it. And really the point of this tool is to help our economic development efforts. And the more we see it as, the more we can get people to spend time in Aurora, even if it's to go out to eat, the better the outcomes will be in terms of economic development, and then just changing perceptions to be positive through our audiences doing that. And we can go to the next slide. So in all, on average, we capture about 75 million total impressions through marketing every year. A lot of those come from the light rail, and especially this year with having 2 rails running and us not having to pay for them, which is awesome. But those also come from digital advertisements, outdoor advertising, print, and social media. And basically what we're trying to do is just build awareness of the Aurora brand, hopefully get interest and engagement, and then our goal is ultimately to elicit some sort of action, whether it's spending time in Aurora or making an investment in some way or another. And that is all that I have. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Councilmember Gardner?
No questions, just feedback specifically on the World in a City campaign and the light rail wraps. Even more specifically, I have heard from so many people, like people in Denver and in other places, that love it. And I've been asked, like, what marketing agency did you guys use, and like all kinds of questions like that, because they really like the tagline and kind of how we're branding ourselves, the World in a City. So just kudos to everybody that's involved in our communications effort, marketing effort in the city, because I think that's been really effective, because like I said, I've gotten a lot of feedback on it. So good job on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Medina?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
All right, none for me. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you always. And anything we can provide you to help push out, please let us know. We want to help and put it in your hands as well. So thank you.
Alrighty, we will go ahead and move on to our next presentation, which is the Cultural Affairs Commission Annual Report. Ginger and is it Tone are our presenters.
Yes, it's Tone. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yes.
All right, excellent. I am Tone Ellis de Jesus. I'm the chairperson for the Aurora Cultural Affairs Commission. It's an honor to be here today and to present this commission's annual report. Next slide, please. The commission's mission and vision is to foster a vibrant and inclusive cultural community in Aurora through support for local arts, heritage, and cultural expression, making Aurora a city where arts and culture are accessible and as celebrated by all. Next slide. Our next slide here details the commission responsibilities and through our various interactions with the Aurora community, and that is also aligned with the library's Library and Cultural Services, Library and Cultural Services Cultural Arts Plan, which includes enhancing the Aurora Cultural Arts District through the Aurora Northwest Aurora Arts Grants, which a lot of our commission work entails. Along with that, we conduct workshops to assist organizations in successful grant applications specific to this grant. However, the information that is given in these workshops can assist an organization in applying for other grants. So it's a valuable resource for organizations that are small or might be starting out or have limited capacity. Providing resources for programmatic success, like the workshops I just mentioned. Supporting the clearance process for Aurora's public art installations, including any outside art and sculptures. So whenever the Arts in Public Places Commission has projects, I do believe it's over 5,000, the commission is part of that process that provides further project feedback. Next slide, please. This slide is key programs and initiatives. In 2024, the Commission did its annual review of our bylaws to ensure operations and governance remain efficient and transparent. Our 2024 retreat included a discussion with the Aurora Urban Renewal Authority, since, as with other commissions, there are folks coming in and out of the process. Most of our commissioners have not met Andrea at the authority. So this was a great opportunity for us to hear the history of the grant and Aura's goals and desired outcomes from the grant, which dates back to the Fletcher Plaza Urban Renewal Plan, the business economic goals stated in that plan, making ACAD a destination for Aurora residents, tourists, and folks within the state who might travel to the area to experience an event. Post this retreat, we used that information to revitalize our grants panelist handbook, providing clear guidelines for evaluators, which includes both commissioners and community members, because we want to bring back the process of involving community members in our grant review process, which was temporarily halted during the pandemic and the pandemic recovery. Also, we streamlined the grant criteria and application processes to make the grant applications simpler, clearer, and more user-friendly, which was helpful, being that a lot of times our grant applications, people applying for them, English is not their primary language. And also first-time grant applicants, new organizations, what have you. We expanded diversity in the applicant pool, welcoming new creative voices. So when we're talking about diversity, we're vertical and horizontal. We were looking to not only expand in both background diversity, but in an event program diversity way. For example, outdoor festivals, activity for youth and family, et cetera. Next slide, please. For our financial review piece, the commission does not have an established budget. However, we do want to note that grant funds were reduced from 150K in 2024 down to 75,000 this year. So we had less money to work with. So we want to emphasize the need for financial support to maintain Aurora's cultural arts vibrancy, especially during these challenging financial times and in ACAD, since there's now extensive renovations and developments all up and down Colfax. We further support the Library and Cultural Services in its new liaison role with the Aurora Cultural Arts District to create a cohesive vision for the arts and culture in the city. Once again, we're mentioning the Cultural Arts Plan and the Fletcher Plaza Urban Renewal Plan, their financial and economic goals in bringing more residents and visitor traffic to the ACAD area. Next slide, please. This is a quick overview of our grant performance this past grant cycle. This slide displays the outcomes of our increased applications. It compares not only 2024 and 2025. Well, it only compares 2024 and 2025. However, over the past few years, we have been hitting around about the 2024 mark of about 15 applications awarded, or total applications rather. We also had the Library and Cultural Services Department to thank as the availability of the grants. We had an increased promotion of the availability of the grants. So that also had led to that significant jump there. Next slide, please. This here is the further explanation of the grant. The North Aurora Arts Grant Program provides organizations headquartered in ACAD with operational grants and organizations located outside of ACAD with project grants. Applicants outside of ACAD can seek partnerships with venues within ACAD. The overall goal of the grant is to boost the arts district through arts-driven economic activity, stimulated economic growth through tourism, and to support representation of various cultural identities throughout Aurora and foster an inclusive atmosphere. In 2024, grant applicants included a diverse range of arts and culture programs. Individual artists focus on community engagement, inclusivity, and artistic innovation, which include youth arts education programs, mentoring programs. Organizations supporting disability-focused theater and performing arts. Cultural groups showcasing diverse traditions from immigrants and refugee communities. Visual artists or visual arts organization offering community public art initiatives. Dance companies and individual artists and collectives offering music, dance, theater, storytelling, and multimedia projects. So as you see there, very wide selection of different organizations and their wide selection of different programs and public engagement opportunities. Next slide, please. Some of these impactful programs, just wanted to list those here. Of course, we have DAVA. And we have Colfax Canvas, which is an outside arts festival. Formerly Theater Company, which offers workshops and internships for youth and emerging disabled artists. And they perform regularly at the People's Building. Roshni, South Asian Cultural Arts and Storytelling Organization, which recently acquired space in the Colfax area. VPAC, which is a diverse performing arts organization. They offer programs focused on community empowerment, healing, and cultural enrichment. An artist, Daryl Leonard Gott, who offers all ages jazz and music instruction and performances, who collaborates with Roshni. Insight Collab Theater is an Asian American interactive theater. They offer interactive theater experiences and they collaborate with Vintage Theater within that ACAD area. And our new grant applicants are School of Breaking, which is a hip hop dance education organization emphasizing creativity and cultural history. They have a lot of programming that is youth specific. And Manos Ingratos, which is a arts venue supporting people of color, queer, and disabled artists. Next slide, please. All right, so this slide describes the streamlining process that we completed for the grants application process. So we collaborated with the Library Cultural Services for increased outreach and promotion, attracting a diverse range of grant applicants and doubling the number of applications. Conducted targeted workshops to assist first-time applicants, revised grant questions for clear responses, resulting in significantly improved quality of the grants, observed varied diversity strategies and outcomes among grantees, and identified ongoing need for educational resources. So, in hearing back from the organizations that applied for grants, of course, we got a lot of great information on their operations and what their current and future needs would be. Some of our grantee feedback there, of course, is from the School of Breaking and also from Roshni. Also, as a result, applications became easier for grant panelists, both commissioners and community members, to review and evaluate, especially now our grant process is now involving more community members for increased transparency. Next slide, please. So this slide describes organization challenges and future considerations from the commission. Commissioners, we completed the right sizing study survey that was sent to all current commissioners a couple of months ago. Potential quorum challenges anticipated due to commissioner turnover and lack of active recruitment. We haven't been recruiting over the past few months. For example, we have commissioners' terms ending or their availability might change. What we might do is we might at least in the interim recruiting until we have further direction that will come out of the right sizing study survey. Dramatic increase in grant applications underscore community need for continued grant support despite funding reductions. During our meeting with Aura last year, they did indicate that their funding for the grant is temporary as they do their work in that ACAT area, but will discontinue after a while they transition to another area in Aurora. So when they transition, of course, that money disappears, but we would like to continue to emphasize that that area still has a very large funding need. As we go to the next slide and we look ahead, the commission wants to still emphasize to city leadership the necessity of continued funding for the ACAT area, especially as COFAX development continues. Maintain advocacy of Aurora cultural organizations as a essential community asset. The next steps, we have completed our grant process. We're sending those recommendations to City Council for approval via resolution. And also a next step for the commission is to develop a comprehensive playbook documenting processes or procedures and best practices for future grant programs. Over the years of overseeing this grant, of course, we've learned a lot working with different organizations and businesses within the ACAT area. So we will have or would have a lot of information to pass on, our guidebooks, our, like I mentioned, the playbook of our policies and procedures. So any commission in the future that may take up this effort would not be starting from zero. Next slide. All right, so that completes my presentation. Thank you so much. And if there are any questions, I definitely would like to answer those.
Thank you, Tone, for the presentation. really excited to see how active y'all are, especially supporting the Ward 1 area. Just real quick on my end, have y'all been approached by Puma related to the Colfax feasibility study at all?
No, we have not as of yet.
Okay, that's a study that Councilmember Gardner and I have co-sponsored on the potential for some sort of district along the Colfax corridor, which of course intersects with the ACAD area. So give that feedback to Puma in case there's still opportunity for them to connect with you all.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Councilmember Medina, any questions?
Yeah, just a couple things. So most of these programs you're trying, is this secluded just to Ward 1, or are you looking to expand outside of that ward? One of my questions.
Well, actually, the commission's work is all of Aurora, is city encompassing. The reason why I talk a lot about the ACAD area here is because a large part of our work is the grants, which is specific to just ACAD. But to answer your question, we are interested in expanding outside of the area if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, this is the question I had. The other thing is too, I'm happy to try to connect you to some other resource potential.
Mhm.
So if you get together with me, I used to be a trustee of the Darren Foundation. There may be some opportunities there to connect you to some of the funders that may fund arts
Okay,
and see if we can get you in front of them and see if there's potential for them to, give some funds to over to Aurora.
excellent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Good. Thank you.
Councilmember Gardner.
Yeah, a couple things. First, thanks for the call out, Councilmember Murillo, on Puma, connecting with Puma. I was thinking the same thing, so thanks for that. Question on the NAG grants. And maybe you said this, but I missed it. You certainly said that there was an increase in total applicants. So I'm just curious, kind of the number from maybe last year to this year, what that delta is. And then also with the funding reduction from 150 to 75, did your average grant award amount stay the same and therefore you funded fewer organizations, or what did that look like?
Okay, so your first question was?
Just the number of applications from last year to this year, because you had said there was a significant increase. So I'm just curious how many more organizations applied.
Actually, I went from 15 to just under 30.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And then with the funding reduction from 150 to 75, did your average award amount stay the same? Or
no?
Okay.
No, that the average award amount was reduced by pretty much half.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, and actually now that I was thinking about the recruitment piece, that's not an uncommon, situation or scenario to be in. Actually, Councilmember Medina and the organization that he works for, they have leaders that they help develop, and in fact, I presented at it was several years ago, but they had an entire workshop on like how to get involved on like local and state commissions. So I'm sure he could connect you all, maybe recruiting folks who live in Aurora to be part of the commission, just folks who
Sorry, my
Maria, we lost your sound.
yes.
Hello?
There we go.
Can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened. It just went out for a second. All I was saying is there are other community organizations that have done some work to like build and invest in their members' leadership skills. And this could be a way to kind of capitalize on some of that work that's already been done and inviting them to apply. So we'll just encourage you to look around that way, and happy to connect and point you in any direction if you're interested. So thanks again for the presentation.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Right. I believe that's it for the meeting. Any miscellaneous matters for consideration? Okay.
None from staff today. Nope.
Great. And we're still on course for next meeting's topics.
Yes.
Okay. Is everyone good on our next meeting date?
Works for me.
I'm good. Works for me.
Okay. I may have a conflict, but that's not confirmed yet. I will follow up if that materializes. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Good one. Bye.